And we are live. Wonderful. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever in the world you've joined us. My name is Dirk. I'm the head of trading education here at the PrimeXBT Training Academy. And welcome to another episode of That Room, our live trading show here brought to you from the PrimeXBT Training Academy. And when I say live trading, I mean live trading, but of course that depends a little bit on what the markets are doing today. If there are going to be any live trades we can do. Last week when we did the show first time, we are a little bit out of luck. Because the markets actually that we were viewing were going sideways. Nonetheless, today I've put together some great content for you. So we are going to look once more at my RSIHooks trading strategy, and I'm going to walk you by request from you guys really through the indicator. I'm going to show you how to set up the indicator, which settings I use currently for this indicators, how I use this one, all of course with the goal to inspire you a little bit to try it out for yourself if you like that. Now, also before we start, very important here, guys, our risk disclaimer. We are a trading academy. So I've personally been doing this day trading for over 24 years now, for over 20 years, 24 years to be more precise now. So I'm considered a professional. If this whole thing is new to you, you want to make it, you want to take it slow. Also, please be aware this is no financial advice we are giving. So everything we are doing here, my goal is always to inspire you, to give you like a starting point, which you can use, and you can come up then with your own strategies that maybe can build up on everything that I'm going to show you here today. All right, so let me make my screen here a little bit bigger. By the way, if you have any questions during this live stream, feel free to write into the chat here. Let me just type in quickly something here. Here we go. So feel free to write in the chat. And then if that is a question that we have time to answer, of course, during the live stream, I'm very happy, of course, to answer your questions there. Don't be shy. Also, if you haven't done so already, you have the opportunity of becoming a member of the PrimeXBT Trading Academy. Don't worry, there is no costs with that. It's totally free. All you need to do is to go into the description of this video. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll find a link there to open a PrimeXBT Trading account. If you use that link automatically, that means you become a member of the academy, a student of academy as well, which gives you the opportunity every time you have any questions. For example, you can send us an email to academy@primexbt.com. And if you're a student, this email will then be personally answered by me. So also a great way, to kind of dip into my experience there a little bit. And on top, we currently have a promo code, which you can enter if you go to your trading account. So you go to margin account and enter the promo code called The Room here, which gives you the opportunity then to get a reduction of 50% on all the trading fees. So if you're day trading, this makes the already low trading fees at primexbt.com even lower. So great chance to get started with day trading. Okay, anything else? Yeah, you can get in touch with us. I said already, academy@primexbt.com. By the way, great news also, we are right now setting up a Discord server. So in the future, you'll also be able, throughout a day of trading, to find me there in Discord and chat live with me. Which also should be really cool, to do something for the trading community to bring us crypto traders closer together. If you like what you are seeing here, why not leave us a like, subscribe to our channel. That way it's really for us the greatest motivation to continue with this. All right, good. Let's jump right into it. as I said, I want to talk today about, hold on a second, I just have to move this window a bit to this side so I can still see if you have any questions. Okay, good. So as I said already, today I want to once again focus on talking about my RSIHooks strategy. Why that is called RSIHooks, you'll find out in a minute, and how I personally use the strategy on different time frames for trading. Should we get a real life signal today within the next half hour, 45 minutes for the stream, I'm going to, of course, also trade this one live for you. So you can kind of see it in action. However, you of course very much welcome to use the strategy and kind of see for yourself if maybe this is something worthwhile for you. It works on all time frames, at least as far as I can tell. I haven't found a time frame where it doesn't work, but of course, also very important here, it's not a holy grail. There are no holy grail strategies out there with indicators that are always right 100% of the time, which are going to make you a millionaire within a couple of trading days. Trading is hard working, and every indicator, every strategy you use can only be a tool. So there are market conditions where those indicators work well, where also this strategy works well. There are markets where it doesn't work very well. So before you risk any money, of course, do some testing for yourself there, please. All right, so I'm using, as you can see, Trading View here, and I'm using this because it's a very versatile tool for charting. Nonetheless, every signal I get there, I then of course trade with my PrimeXBT trading account. Because of the low fees there, that makes super much sense. So if you don't have a Trading View account yet, you'll also find in the description a link to open a trading account there. It's free. So I think there are 3 versions. The basic version, which is totally sufficient for the beginning, is free. So nothing wrong with opening an account there as well. Now, what we have here is, first of all, a candlestick chart of Bitcoin. And it's a 5-minute chart in this case, but as I said, you can do this on other time frames as well. So if you, for example, have a job to attend, probably makes sense to use this more on daily charts or even weekly charts. I, however, tend to use this for my day trading strategies, one of my day trading strategies, and it works very well for me, even on 5-minute charts. If you work with 5-minute charts or even 1-minute charts, be also sure that you really do this with a broker with very low trading fees. That's why I use for this strategy, for example, PrimeXBT.com. It's very important. Otherwise, if you pay something like, I don't know, 0.1 for one side, so it makes it 0.2 in and out or even more, this is going to eat up all your winnings potentially. So what we do here, this strategy consists of actually 2 indicators. The one you see up here as a layover over the candlestick chart are just normal, plain vanilla Bollinger Bands. And if I go here into the inputs, you can see I have a length here of 20. The source is close, so the Bollinger Bands are calculated on the closing price of each of the candle, standard deviation of 2, no offset. Pretty straightforward. I think this is also the vanilla settings when you apply this one that comes with it. You'll find indicators on Trading View always here. If you click on indicators, and if you then go to technicals, and you, for example, can use the search function here, Bollinger Bands, and then you'll find numerous different Bollinger Bands, also some strategy. So this is the one you want, Bollinger Bands, plain vanilla. Second indicator I'm using here is RSI, stands for Relative Strength Index, which is really one of the very classic indicators out there that has been used for really decades already. Now, this indicator, if you trade it by the book, won't work. By the book means, in this case, whenever the indicator, so the RSI, here's the orange line on my chart, goes over 70, the market is so-called overbought, which means it should go back again. But as you can see, that really doesn't work very well. I mean, look at what we had here this morning already. If you would have entered, here. There was a lot more going still on to the upside there. So that doesn't work very well with a classic one, vice versa. You should open a long position when it goes below 70. Also doesn't work very well. There's a lot of research that has been done on this already. So don't do it. Just trust me on this one, it won't work. However, what I do here is I applied 2 moving averages to my RSI. So the first one, if I go into the settings here of the RSI, is first of all, I have the following metrics for this one. Again, vanilla RSI with a standard length of 14. So it calculates the close price of the last 14 candles. Then I applied, and this is also already in the vanilla version, WMA, which stands for weighted moving average, with a length of 6 and a deviation of 2. So this is the purple line you are seeing down here on the chart. And additionally, I did a layover of another moving average, in this case, an exponential moving average with a length of just 3, which I calculate onto the RSI in this case as well. So you have 3 lines in here. The plain vanilla classic RSI, which is the orange line. You have the weighted moving average, the purple line, and you have the exponential moving average, which is the blue line in this case. Now, what we want to look for in a first step, let me put it like this, is we want to wait until the RSI goes into this territory, ideally either above 70 or below 30. Remember, this was back then, this was by classic definition overbought, below 30 oversold. But we don't want to just buy or sell if this orange line goes up there. We want to wait until the RSI crosses, then reverses under its moving averages. So you can see this very well. This actually happened this morning last time at 7:30 there. So we want to wait for something like this. You can see here RSI and its moving averages, of course, went above 70, and then it did a sharp decline, pierced through the moving averages there to go below. And if we now look where this was on the chart, this was not an ideal signal, by the way. You can see if I go with my mouse, this would have meant we probably would have entered the market somewhere around here, the close of this candle. Not an ideal trade, because now the second condition, we ideally want to see kicks in as well. Because what we would like to see also is that when this happens, when this crossover happens, that the current price is somewhere around the upper Bollinger Band here. So in this case, the red line. So in short and summary again, we wait until this is for a short signal, for a sell signal. We wait until the RSI is over 70, crosses with a sharp decline, that is, what that means in a minute, under its moving averages. And ideally, it should be still somewhere sitting here at the red line, because that gives us more potential. Because what we are looking for in this strategy is a reversal now from the upper Bollinger Band to the lower Bollinger Band. And you can see here, this morning actually, I'll zoom in a little bit more, this happened. Now, it was not an ideal trade, I just said, because the decline was too sharp already. So we want really, and this is why I call it RSIHooks, that the indicator pierces through, really steeply pierces through. But you can see in this case, we would have entered already well below the upper Bollinger Band. In this case, you still could have earned a little bit of money with this trade. You see the market reversed first again, but eventually it would have touched here the lower Bollinger Band. But the amount of money you could have earned would have been very low, honestly speaking. So we're talking here an entry roundabout at $43,080 US, and an exit somewhere at 42,926. So let's say around about $150. And then you always have to deduct like $30 to $40 in fees. That is per Bitcoin traded, of course. So yeah, it would have been a solid trade, but for me, not the ideal. This would have been an ideal trade, really, if the RSI, if the price, while the RSI was piercing through the moving averages, still would have been above here. But really, this is up to you if you, of course, want to trade something like this or not. And you can also see here very often what will happen also is that the RSI goes into those extremes here above 70. And remember, the last days we kind of had a bull market there for Bitcoin especially, and of course other cryptocurrencies as well. And then it starts piercing for the first time. So let's really look at this one, this signal as well. I didn't trade the signal because I was sleeping there, obviously. And so you would have waited here, no piercing. Here the piercing would have been done. So you would have entered the market here, actually better already, but then the market saw another swing to the upside, which also can happen. In this case, still you would have at least closed the trade, probably with break even. You even had the chance to enter one more trade here, to be precise. So sometimes if the market is trending, and this is a weak spot of this type of strategy, because it's based on so-called momentum indicator. So momentum indicator is always, which the RSI is an indicator which is trying to time tops and bottoms. Now, if the market is trending very strong into one direction, of course, it's very, very hard to time the top. Nonetheless, that's why when I see it's a trending market, which we have at the moment, I never open my whole position at once. So what I would have done in this case is, let's say if I want to trade one Bitcoin on this, I would have opened one trade here. The first pierce through with 0.3 Bitcoin. I would have waited. If the market goes down immediately, okay, great. Trade was a success but just with 1/3 of my position size I wanted to do. If another pierce through comes, which would have been here at this point, I would have opened the second position and then I would have waited. In this case, the trade would have played out. Also, not like super great winnings, but okay. And this is, in my opinion, the power of this system, that it even gives you the chance in trending markets, to catch some nice tops and bottoms. You have to be a little bit patient. So for your risk management, scaling in, not throwing like the whole position size you are aiming and opening at once into the market, but maybe waiting a little bit and see, hey, is there another pierce through coming? You could do. What you also could do then is once, but this is again, of course, completely optional. Once the market has reached this middle line of the Bollinger Bands, you could move your positions to break even, to not have losses anymore. Ideally, move it like $30, $35 into profit already to account for the fees you're going to have to open and close the position. And really, if you go through your chart, you can see this, of course, very well for yourself. You can see very often, again, down here, I'm seeing this at the moment. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Again, this would have been a long signal. So one here and another one here. And in this case, also not bad trades again. We would have been able to kind of time a local bottom at the market. And yeah, the market was then moving sideways again, but eventually pierced through. Now, if you are a bit more patient, I'm not the most patient trader when it comes to day trading. I must admit, still after doing that for such a long time, I'm not. But if you are more patient, you can also say, okay, I have a signal in this case into the direction of the main trend I'm seeing, which for the last days has been up in Bitcoin. And I mean, we can very easily define this if we look at the daily chart of Bitcoin. We can very clearly see here, yeah, we have been going up. So we are in a short-term uptrend, at least at the moment, Bitcoin. You can also use these to ride those longer because you are trading with the trend in this case. There are a lot of variations you can do this. This is why I initially said, don't use this as a fire and forget system. Use this to either back up your own hypothesis about the market or use it maybe as a counter indicator as well. You can incorporate this kind of strategy very well into your own strategy that you are might be developing. Another thing that works very well with the strategy is, for example, if you are looking for so-called divergences. But before I do that, yeah, I have a comment. I want just quickly a comment here from 4EMH. Yes, I found that the RSI doesn't help always to when entering X in a trade. Absolutely. This is why I say there is no such thing as a holy grail indicator that will always give you correct trades 100% of the time. We as traders can always be happy if we can time an entry and exit, at least 70% well, and then ride a little bit of a trend if it goes into our direction. This is why it's so important to have risk management. With this system, you're not going to earn every day lots and loads of cash. But over the long run, if we look like, for example, 1,000 trades, it works pretty well. I mean, it has been working so far well for me. And I think that's a pretty good indication. Now, another thing, this is, of course, not the only thing. Like, to give you maybe another idea of what you could be doing with this type of indicator, is you could be looking for so-called divergences. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. English sometimes is a difficult language. And a divergence is basically when the chart, the price chart, is doing something completely different from what the RSI is currently doing. And yeah, this is an example actually here, and a pretty nice one. So is this the right one? Trend line? Yeah. So a divergence would be, for example, this here. Wait, let me make this line red. So you have a falling RSI, but you have excuse me, you have at the same time, excuse me, my mouth is a little bit coarse today. You have at the same time a rising price. So look at this, falling RSI, and you can easily identify this with by using those trend lines. But at the same time, you have a rising price in the market. And whenever this happens, this is called a divergence. The market price diverts from what the indicator is telling us in this case. That's where it's originating from. And in this case, when this divergence, when you have discovered something like this, and this is also, of course, we're talking here about the extreme zone. So we want to see this ideally over 70 or under 30 in the RSI. This is most of the time a very strong signal, especially if it comes into, if it happens in an area where you had those crossovers, those RSI hooks, as I called them, already. And you see, we had those here one time, we had this 2 times already, then we have divergence. And once the divergence has built, which would have been finished really here at the top of the candle, almost, not counting the wick, at the closing price of a candle. So if you just would have used this divergence here, you would have entered the market here really almost perfectly timed, this one at almost 43,200, and you could have rode it all the way down to 42,800, which is $500 in this case. So whenever you see something like this, ideally something like you have already those RSI hooks crossovers, then you have a divergence. This is usually a very, very strong sign that the market has reached a local top. Also here, that doesn't mean it's going to happen 100% of the time, but it's a very strong indication. So this for me is a very, very good signal. Already I had the hooks playing here already. Yeah, the market continued higher after this. I'm building up position. Then I see the divergence. So this would have been, if I would have been awake at the time, really for me, the signal that I would have opened my third position in this trade. And I'm not saying go all in, but would have been very, very confident about this trade. These can be sometimes a little bit hard to spot. So it's more often art than science, and you just want to make sure that you look for those in those extreme zones. Let me see. I think yeah, down here we had another example of this. Not so super obvious like the other one, but also let's see here. So where also we had the RSI hooks here already. We had a rising market here. Let me zoom in a little bit more maybe, so you can see that better. And of course, I need to make this green, so it's a positive divergence in the RSI. And at the same time, we had the market going down here. So again, it's the kind of the same signal. Oops, not like this. That we had already up here with a divergence, but here the other way around. Positive divergence in the RSI. So you have two bottoms in the extreme zones. The second bottom is higher than the first bottom, but the market is still falling. Plus, you have those beautiful RSI hooks here. Strong indication that the market is probably going to reverse into the other direction again. Now, in this case, it would have been it was a reversal into the direction of a trend. So this makes it an even better signal, in my opinion. So I really invite you to experiment a little bit with that. Load it maybe onto your chart, and yeah, watch it a little bit and get a feeling how this plays out for you. Now, again, best is just if you use this as inspiration and then you kind of start developing it further into your own direction. So whatever, you know, is nice for your eyes. Let's put it like this. By the way, I'm currently also hard coding this indicator, this whole trading system into one indicator, which will then also display those divergences, which will display signals. And this once that is done, so give me a little bit of time there, please, more. I will publish this and make this available for the members of the Trading Academy. So this indicator will then automatically, you know, paint down here and up here onto the chart everything I've just put into words. Might be something very helpful. More on that in the upcoming weeks, of course. Still need some time to iron some bugs out there. Okay, good. I see at the moment no questions. Good, then let's continue. We can see here again the market totally flat at the moment again. And this is, I've noticed really in the last weeks, ever since actually the war in the Ukraine started, that this is happening very, very often. That the market from about 8:30, 9 o'clock goes flat sideways until the late afternoon when there's some more action coming from the USA. Christian, hello, Dirk. I'm sorry I missed the first 30 minutes. Don't worry about it. You know, everything I say here is recorded, and later on you can rewatch it also on YouTube again, and then maybe pause at some points also, so you can kind of do everything I've shown here for yourself also. Don't worry. No information is lost on the internet for sure. Anyway, not. Good. Second thing I want to show you guys today is something interesting that you can use to kind of iron out the market noise. So very often when we trade on lower time frames for me are everything below 1 hour. You will have a lot of noise in the market. By noise, I mean like sometimes like this one, for example, here, wicks to the upside, downsiding. There's not much action going on. Like, for example, here since 8:30 this morning, we've just been moving sideways. So kind of boring phases, which of course are still influencing what our indicators are showing us, but really don't have any information. And one thing you might want to consider to use to kind of get rid of this noise is by using different charts. And there's one chart type that you can use for this called a Renko chart. You'll find this if you click on this one, and then you go here on Renko chart. And Renko charts, let's close this one at the moment. And also the Bollinger Bands and Renko Charts. And I want to make this one bigger. Hold on. Oh, can I move this one? No, cannot. Doesn't matter. So Renko Charts are charts that are not influenced by time, but are purely influenced by price. That means, for example, in this case, I have to go into the box size. Okay, I already adjusted that. Great. Every one of those little boxes you see here are representing a price move of $100 in Bitcoin. And I also want to use this on the 5-minute charts, by the way. So every time the market goes up by 100 points, a green box will be drawn. If it goes up by $300, 3 green boxes will be drawn. If it goes down by $100, a red box will be drawn. If it goes down by $300, 3 red boxes will be drawn. And it doesn't matter how much time goes by in the meantime. Now you can set these boxes to whatever you want. In this case, I have the source here closed, so the measurement of those boxes are based on the closing price. Box size, traditional means really measured in US dollars. I made a box size here of 100. I could also put this, for example, to 250. So you can see this really changing then every time the market moves by 250 points or US dollars for Bitcoin. The one box to the upside or downside is drawn. So pretty straightforward. And what this is really, really good for, first of all, is to filter out all of this noise. If we compare here, I'm going to set both charts to daily here. Is this daily? Yeah, no. Yeah, it is. So if we go back here now to November, we get the cross. Here we go. You can see. So you can see that a lot of what is happening to the upside and downside here is filtered out by those Renko charts. So you can get rid of a lot of noise, as I said, with this. And I invite you to kind of experiment also a little bit with those box sizes there. So I'm going to reset it now to 100. And as you can see, just by displaying the information like this, very often you can very clearly see what is the current trend we are having. And as I said here, according to Renko Charts, since the 22nd of March, that is, the Renko Charts say we are in an uptrend. And you can also see here by those green boxes that are in a darker green yet, those would be drawn if the market would close now today at what we have now, $42,800. So they are very, very good in identifying trends, which you again could use then to identify which trend direction are we in, maybe and give that some weight in, for example, your day trading. So, okay, we are in an uptrend at the moment at these short term. So maybe I even just trade daily day trading signals that point into the long direction because I don't want to stand in the way of a market. So this could be a very good and very solid strategy to make your trading life a little bit easier. Now, the fun thing always can happen if I now apply my RSI-hook strategy to this. Let's make this bigger, actually. I change this to Renko's, otherwise it's so hard to see, I think, for you guys. Hold on. Traditional. And we do box size 100. Here we go. Now look at this. So this is the daily Bitcoin chart now, Renko charts with a box size of 100. And to this, I applied my RSI-hook strategy. And you can see how well, really, in this case, it's able to determine where areas of a market oversold and overbought are. This is really, really good stuff, in my opinion. If you wait for those really crossovers here, you look at this, was almost perfectly able to time the tops and bottoms of a market in this case. So why am I showing you this? Again, don't take this and just think, oh, I found the holy grail of trading. Now, it's not as easy like this, but I want to show you how you can take one trading strategy, one set of indicators, applying to different charting, looking for different things like the divergences I was talking about also. Interesting, moving down here a little bit. So if maybe we go below 30 now, and then where we could enter a new trade there. So you can use the same system and use it in different ways to get a different angle and view at the market. And I really, for me, the best thing is to, just open those charts, start trying a little bit. When you see something where you think like, hey, this is like something that makes a lot of sense, you experiment with it. No need to, throw money on the table immediately. You can also trade this with a demo account first, obviously, or paper trade it, or you just go through the chart and take notes for yourself in an Excel sheet and take things down, how that would have worked, and so on and so forth. And if you feel a little bit confident, you open an account and you start trading it in real time, hopefully then with PrimeXBT.com. So yeah, this is about it, what I wanted to talk about today. How long we've been? 37 minutes now. So what we want to have an eye on now is, of course, the 5-minute chart. It's back in the range now again. That's why it's so important, to wait for those extreme zones. So ideally today in Bitcoin, I would wait for something to happen here below 30 for day trading to see if I can get some entries there. As I said, this one, I'm using this not only on Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies, of course, as well. I like to use this on indices also, for example, the German DAX, although you have to be a little bit more careful when using that there. Also remember, this is something I mentioned back then when I did a long version of this, I think called Day Trading Strategies for Beginners or for Cryptos or something. So that was a live webinar we did in the beginning of February, where I also talked about the strategy. And the closer we get when you are trading cryptocurrencies to the opening of a New York Stock Exchange, which at my time is at 3:30 normally. The closer you get there, the more the crypto prices will be influenced about what the S&P 500 is doing. So you might want to switch there and look more at the S&P 500 instead of basing your signals on Bitcoin. So these are all those little tweaks and things that make it also, for example, very, very difficult to just take a strategy like this and then back test it and say like, oh, I'm going to trade every time you have a hook there. I'm going to open a trade. And then you back test it and see like, okay, it doesn't really work that well. Yeah, because throughout the day, you want to start looking for other things that are going to influence the market. Good. Another question here from 4EMH. Dick, can you please give us an idea how you find these interesting indicators? Honestly speaking, trial and error. So as I said, of course, I've been doing this for a long time already, but what you can do really is, like you just said here, and let me show this as well, you can go through the list of available indicators and just give it a try. So I mean, especially in trading view, if we go to technicals here, there are so many indicators that you can use. That's why, and then, just choose one. I don't know, whatever that is, copper curve, never heard of this. Display it, play a little bit around with the setting, and see if you can make sense of whatever information is shown there in relation to what the price chart is showing you. This is really what it's all about, trial and error. And there are millions and millions of different indicators, different combination of indicators, and so on and so forth. Later on, when you've progressed a little bit with your trading, you can also use then, for example, if you're using TradingView, okay, on this one I cannot, hold on. You could also use here and code your own indicators. But this is pretty advanced, of course, already, so probably nothing you really want to begin with. But this is how you do it. This is try and error. If you are somebody that is fond of coding, that maybe has a little bit experience in Python, you can export data like this and build machine learning models around it. So the sky is really the limit. And it's no wonder that investment banks, hedge funds, and so on and so forth are really spending like hundreds of millions of US dollars to try those things, find out those things, and so on and so forth. They don't trade like us individual traders, obviously. So they're always looking for risk-free returns if there's something like this on the market. I don't think so, by the way. But really, it's try and error. So, and I think this is a beautiful question, really, you've asked there, because, again, it shows my purpose here. What I want to show you, again, is not like, hey, this is a system, and if you apply the system, you're going to be rich. It's not as easy like this, sadly. If it would be, everybody would be doing this, obviously. But to kind of give you, because there's this whole jungle of possibilities, to maybe show you a starting point, or to maybe show you this is how I try to approach the market to really make sense of all this price action, of all this noise out there. But it's, of course, just one out of millions of possibilities out there. If you get stuck somewhere, or maybe you want to ask for an advice if you're on the right track, feel free. I'm going to show this again here to you, to drop me an email under academy@primexbt.com. So we'll always answer your emails, of course. Don't worry, it's not just talk. And yes, stay a student of the PrimeXBT Trading Academy. I'm happy. Am I the only one who cannot log into PrimeXBT? Oh, I'm logged in. Works. Weird, but I'm going to forward it to the IT department then if there's something. So maybe give it 5 minutes until it works again. All right, thanks again for joining us here. As I said, 3 to 4 times a week, we are publishing new videos. I'm going to be back live again also next week. Hopefully, we have some more time then to trade a little bit. I hope you guys had fun. Leave us a like, subscribe to the channel. Going to see you next week. All the best for you. Take care and bye-bye.